My heart absolutely breaks when people on TikTok contact me in my DMs about problems they're having in their relationships, and they're looking to me for advice. And I can give you my experience and I can talk about what I've learned. I'm by no means an expert, but I just had a TikTok viewer reach out to me. She researched me and actually found me on Instagram, which if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just Unquiet Woman. And she sent me a DM talking about her relationship with an avoidant and how she's anxious and how she's trying so hard to apply all of the techniques that therapists on here and other streams of media are telling her to employ, which are to just let the avoidant be avoidant, let them have their space, don't come on too strong, don't be too needy. And this is a text message where I repeat what she had DM'd me. I didn't want to post the original DM for privacy purposes, but she's just so desperate to be seen and heard and loved, and she blew up at him after trying to employ all of these avoidant techniques to allow the avoidant to not face uncomfortable feelings of emotional connection. And she's just bidding for her partner to show up for her and love her. And the advice that I gave to her was, in many of these cases with your avoidant partner, they're actually manipulative, in some cases narcissistic, in my case narcissistic, and absolutely almost all of them are emotionally unavailable. So you're a whole ass person out here with emotional intelligence, bidding for your partner to reach out and be emotionally connected to you and be emotionally intelligent and meet your emotional needs, which is not too much to ask, especially from a partner. And instead of them doing that, they're shutting down, they're abandoning you, they're not giving you what you need and what you absolutely deserve. And so instead of holding them accountable and saying, wait a minute, I deserve this, and if you can't give it to me, I'm out, people like me would stay in these relationships, like this woman who DM'd me, and try to make themselves smaller, try to adjust their behavior so that they can be loved. And I advised her, first and foremost, you need to recognize that what you're asking for is not too much. And now you can do the healing that I did that eventually will lead to love. It will give you and lead to the love that you're craving. Now, it may not be in the way that you think. It may not be with this specific partner. I know for me, I was in my bad relationship with an avoidant. Actually, he was a cheating narcissist. But while I was in that relationship, I started to heal. I read this book. And I talk about this book all the time, and I actually referred it to this commenter, Anxiously Attached by Jessicabaum. I started reading this book in my relationship with my avoidant because I wanted to learn how to fix me. I wanted to learn how to not be anxiously attached anymore so that I could be lovable, so that he would love me and pick me and I wouldn't be too needy. But what happened when I read this book was I learned how to pour into myself. I learned, why do I accept breadcrumbs? Why am I often comfortable and safe even in relationships where there's a runner-chaser dynamic and I'm the chaser? What is it about my past history that makes that okay for me? And this book brings up those questions. So while you're asking yourself these little questions, and she's being so tender in her writing, and I honestly advise listening to the audio of this book because her voice is so soothing and loving. As I got more in touch with the little part of me that felt like that was okay in a relationship, she also has these wonderful meditations in her book. And you do these meditations of self-love. And really what it's doing is it's calming your dysregulated nervous system, because being in a runner-chaser dynamic with somebody who is not emotionally available, i.e. an avoidant, dysregulates your nervous system. And so it keeps you in that fight or flight runner chaser dynamic without an end in sight. So this book gives you a little break. It gives you a little reprieve from that chase. And you're doing meditations to calm your nervous system. So you're starting to feel like what it feels like to be safe in love. And I was with my narcissistic cheating boyfriend the entire time I was doing this healing work. It's okay to stay in your relationship. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just don't have the strength to leave yet. And as I did that, I slowly but surely started to give the love to myself that I was asking him for. I started to give the healing and the safety to myself that I was looking to that relationship to give to me. And so guess what happened? Tale as old as time. I started to look at what he was giving me and recognize even deeper how dysfunctional it was, how manipulative it was. And honestly, he started to just fall in my eyes in his value. I started to see that he was completely unable to give me safety and love, and in fact was perpetuating abuse and harm on me. And that gave me the strength, because I had been pouring into myself for so long, to say no more and to leave that relationship. I read this book, and that was the huge catalyst to it. And here's the best part. Here's the fairy tale ending for people that are on the healing journey. When you start giving that to yourself, that healing to yourself, it is the most potent magnetic force on earth to call in everything that you want. And in my case, I wanted the basics. I wanted to feel safe, and I wanted love. That is not too much to ask. And any partner who's an avoidant or a narcissist who makes you feel like that's too much to ask, they're wrong. You need to sit down, because what you're asking for is not too much. And once you start to do the healing work, you will attract it into your life. It is a magnet. It is such a polar, undeniable magnetic force that brings in friendships, family relationships, and most of all, love relationships that finally give you what you are giving to yourself. The relationship that I'm in now, I wouldn't even term him avoidant or anxious. Those are not words that we use in our vocabulary. They're not relevant. Do you know what we are? Two emotionally adept, intellectual, intelligent people who show up for each other and choose every minute of the day to love one another. We have such a sense of calm safety in our relationship. None of those old characters of the inner child that was the chaser, that settled for breadcrumbs, that's not even on the table anymore. She's not even a player. She's not a character in the play anymore. I show up as myself, he shows up as himself, and we give each other that love and safety that we've always craved, that we've always deserved. And it's the most beautiful, harmonious, regulated, easy thing in the world. And you too can call that in as soon as you take the small step to start healing. Whether you read this book or another book, start on the healing journey of giving to yourself all the things that you're looking to outside factors and sources to give to you. And I promise you, in no time at all, it does not take a long time, you will start to call in all of the love, safety, adoration, and miraculous high vibe connection and intimacy that you are craving.